Tonight on ABC 57 News at 6, remembering a hero.
To answer a cry for help. Without hesitation, he acted.
Funeral services for an Indianapolis cop who grew up in Napanee, how he's being remembered by his hometown. Plus,
I'd just like to talk to him one more time.
A local high school football player collapses during practice and later dies. How the community is coming together tonight. And all new at 6, demanding answers. A South Bend Common Councilwoman voices her frustrations with the mayor's office.
And it looks like it's going to be nice and quiet across the area this evening as we continue with temperatures in the 70s. A nice warm-up is on the way as we head towards the weekend. The very latest numbers coming up with your 10-day forecast. ABC 57 News at 6 starts now.
Covering South Bend, Elkhart, and all of Michiana, this is ABC 57 News at 6.
He lost his life protecting a woman and her child.
Laid down his life for the safety of someone he didn't even know.
An Indianapolis police officer with local roots was laid to rest today. Thousands gathered from across the state of Indiana to say goodbye to Officer Rod Bradway.
You know, all we can do today is remember Rod and his sacrifice.
A beloved husband, father, son, his legacy will always live on.
We will ever be grateful. We will never forget Rod Bradway.
An emotional day inside Bankers Life Fieldhouse as family, friends, and men and women in blue remembered and celebrated the life of a fallen hero. Good evening, I'm Brian Dorman. Officer Bradway was shot and killed, as you know, Friday, responding to a domestic dispute. Investigators say that Bradway's actions undoubtedly saved at least 3 lives that morning. He grew up in Napanee and graduated from Northwood High School. My co-anchor Kim Chappell attended today's funeral with a group of Bradway's family and friends from Napanee. She joins us live in Indianapolis. Kim?
Well, Brian, Napanee may be considered a small town, but let me tell you, the residents, community members, police officers came out to Bankers Life Fieldhouse today to show their support for the Bradway family during this very difficult time. And they also wanted them to know that their son's sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice, will not be forgotten. This procession is a testament to the united brotherhood that exists with a simple badge and a pledge.
When he laid down his life for the safety of someone he didn't even know.
Officer Rod Bradway died last week honoring that pledge to protect his community, to protect a perfect stranger.
To answer a cry for help. Without hesitation, he acted, he rescued, and he showed no greater love.
But his death left a heavy sadness, not only on his wife and 2 kids and the thousands who came here to mourn, but also with those in his hometown of Napanee.
He just was part of our community. And once you're a part of Napanee community, you're just always part of it.
And that is why this group of family and friends boarded a bus before dawn and made that 150-mile trip to Indianapolis.
It's just not supposed to be this way.
To show solidarity for his parents, Tom and Sherry Bradway, who were greeted on this bus with open arms of a community and a warm embrace of their tight-knit town.
It felt good to just hold her.
And Napanee Mayor Larry Thompson wanted all of Indiana to know that before he was a hero on the force.
The story goes, Rod was sent on the field with almost no time left on the clock to try and kick a 50 or 51-yard field goal.
Bradway was a hero on the Northwood High School football field.
But they snapped the ball, and Rod Bradway, with that courage and confidence and all the work he had put into being this kicker, you guessed it, he nailed it.
But most of all, they will remember this young father gave the ultimate sacrifice. And now it's up to all officers to keep his legacy alive in Indianapolis and in Napanee.
We will ever be grateful, and just like the Indianapolis folks back home in Napanee, we will never forget Rod Bradway.
And Bradway didn't just leave behind a grieving community. Again, he has a now widow and 2 kids. One of them is in 8th grade, the other a sophomore in high school. The family is asking for any donations. If you want to reach out to these people that grew up right in our Michiana community, donations are being taken at the Police Officers Credit Union here in Indianapolis. Reporting live in Indianapolis, Kim Chappell, ABC 57 News.
And happening right now on the campus of Notre Dame, hundreds have gathered inside the Basilica to honor and pray for the brave men and women in blue who, like Rod Bradway, put their lives on the line for us every day. This is a live look here tonight at what is called the Blue Mass. It is named for the blue uniforms that police officers and firefighters often wear. One woman, wife of a police officer, told us that working in law enforcement is more dangerous now than ever.
The guns have gotten bigger. There's more crime. And so I feel very fortunate that he's still here and able to still assist and serve.
This is the 13th year for the Blue Mass. It started in 2001, right after September 11th. We'll have a complete wrap-up tonight on ABC 57 News at 10 and 11. The LaPorte community is mourning the death of a high school football player. 17-year-old Jacob West collapsed yesterday at football practice. Staff tried to revive him, but he later died at the hospital. We just got off the telephone with a coroner who says he died from heart disease. Tonight, we have special team coverage of this tragedy. ABC 57's Rachel Brown digs deeper into the physical test that student athletes have to pass. But we start with Daryl Labajoris. He is live in LaPorte. And Daryl, you talked with Jacob's friends and school employees today.
Brian, everyone I talked with today is very saddened by this news. Anytime a young person dies unexpectedly like this, it's hard to find closure. Still, school staff members are trying. We caught up with the superintendent today who says Jacob West was an outstanding student athlete and is greatly missed. West's death on the football field came as a shock not only to him, but to other students as well. That's why he brought in grief counselors to meet with those who wanted to talk. He tells me West's passing is a reminder just how precious life really is.
We're telling our community members, if you have a student, if you have a child yourself, make sure you hug your kid today. Make sure you tell your kid you love them. Because you never know when something like this could happen and you could experience a loss.
Now, the LaPorte community has planned a special memorial service for Jacob West. The Celebration of Life service is this Sunday, September 29th at Kiwanis Field. It starts at 4:30 and it's open to the public. Reporting live in LaPorte, Daryl Joris, ABC 57 News.
And as we mentioned, Jacob West went into cardiac arrest during a football practice. So what should parents and student athletes know before stepping onto the football field? ABC 57's Rachel Brown continues our team coverage tonight. And Rachel, you talked with a sports medicine doctor who specializes in treating high school athletes. What did you find out for us tonight?
Brian, she told me a thorough physical examination is the best way. Well, you need a thorough physical examination before you let your child play sports. But unfortunately, sometimes illnesses can go undetected. A physical examination required by the state of Indiana is needed each year before a student can participate in sports. But unfortunately, in certain cases, perfectly healthy athletes can pass a physical and suffer a sudden cardiac collapse. Dr. Mansfield at the Sports Medicine Institute says athletes should always be monitoring their health and talk to a doctor whenever they notice something wrong, not just every year.
It is important that any of the athletes that are experiencing any chest pain or any trouble breathing just from exercise, which is different from what they had experienced before, that they notify someone.
But the Indiana High School Association says incidents like yesterday's tragedy in LaPorte are rare. Live in South Bend, Rachel Brown, ABC 57 News.
And turning our attention now to the weather, a little bit of patchy fog this morning. You're tracking a chance of more of it overnight tonight.
Yeah, overnight tonight. Right now it's gorgeous though. Boy, get out there and enjoy this evening. It looks good. Lots of sunshine. Elkhart right now, beautiful. 77 degrees. 78 degrees in Goshen right now, so temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, hanging out in the low 70s around Warsaw through 7 p.m., down to 70 degrees by 8 p.m. We're going to stick with those clear skies through 9 and 10 o'clock tonight. In fact, all the way down into the mid 60s. And yeah, if you're heading out for Friday night football, tomorrow night looks really nice across the area. We are talking about temperatures in the mid to upper 70s at kickoff. Lots of sunshine through kickoff. By halftime, temperatures in the low 70s and some mid-60s by the end of the game. So it looks good for Friday night football. It looks nice also if you're going to be tailgating ahead into the game on Saturday. The very latest on those numbers coming up in just a few minutes. Brian?
Tonight, ABC 57 is working for you, continuing to search for answers in the investigation of South Bend Police Chief Ron Teachman. He was accused of not backing up a police officer at the MLK Center. The mayor said yesterday Teachman didn't do anything wrong and won't be punished, but he refused to release the results of the ISP investigation. So today, ABC 57's Jason Aubrey called the chief to see if he would share them with us, but we couldn't reach him. He was at Officer Rod Bradway's funeral in Indianapolis.
It's disappointing to think that me asking questions is considered a nuisance.
All new for you here at 6 o'clock is an issue we have uncovered for months in South Bend, a lack of transparency on many city decisions, from something as big as the investigation into the police chief to the budget of a proposed two-way street plan. ABC 57's Megan Schiller is live at the County City Building. And Megan, you talked with Common Councilwoman Valerie Shea today. She has been a loud voice in the quest for more transparency.
That's right, Brian. We first told you when Shea filed a public access request back in May. Now, some city employees joke that Shea is a nuisance, considering they say she constantly is requesting more information. But she says, since when does asking straightforward, upfront questions and actually doing her job, since when is that out of the ordinary? It's an issue as simple as two-way streets, and it's in the mayor's proposed 2014 budget. The Common Council will be asked to appropriate $11.4 million to the Smart Streets program, and Councilmember Valerie Shea wants that number broken down.
I feel it's my responsibility as a city council representative is to ask detailed questions. If it's going to cost $11.4 million, can you tell us why and how and where that money will be spent?
But it's a question still missing an answer, and Shea says it's just one example of the city's lack of transparency. She says it's more than frustrating, it's keeping her from doing her job.
Unless I have adequate information, then I don't feel comfortable voting for things.
She says she's done her research on the issue and found other cities like Louisville that have done this for cheaper, $9 million cheaper. So she doesn't see how she can vote intelligently on an issue if all the details are kept hush-hush.
I'm trying to, be very specific in my questions because I can't support a project if I don't know how the money is going to be spent.
And Shea says she thinks her constituents would support her on that. At this hour, she's still waiting for a response with that information. Now, Shea did say she does think that cooperation for these requests seems to increase around the time the mayor's budget needs to be approved. She said her and her council members joke around that it is like kids who behave very well in the weeks leading up to Christmas. But as for the rest of the year, that's kind of a free-for-all. Reporting live in downtown South Bend, Megan Schiller, ABC 57 News.
And speaking of downtown South Bend tonight, that may lose foot and bike patrols next year on an effort to save the city money. ABC 57's Jason Aubrey joins us live from Michigan Street, asking the tough questions tonight. Jason, please break this down for us.
Well, the proposal would eliminate hundreds of hours of police overtime pay per week. But those against the plan say it would also increase crime in the downtown area. Right now, there are 3 downtown shifts per day, and each shift has 1 or 2 officers. They work the downtown beat by walking, biking, or both. Police officers sign up for these shifts and are paid overtime rates. Typically, they get 2 shifts per week for a total of 8 hours. Council President Derek Dieter says it's the best use of overtime hours he's seen to solve a problem.
This patrol needs to continue for the safety of everybody downtown. We want to grow our downtown, and you cannot have the loitering and the criminal element and the panhandling take over your downtown.
Well, while there is a single patrol car assigned to the downtown, the area it covers is much larger than the few city blocks that the bike and foot patrols already cover. And Derek Dieter says that the foot and bike patrols were instrumental in the arrests of people who were accused of molestation in nearby parks in the last year. Reporting live from South Bend, Jason Aubrey, ABC 57 News.
Cash down the drain. Some in Benton Harbor say they are just fed up with the high water rates.
They have really had been outrageous.
Well, the good news, relief is on the way. Plus, after sitting empty for 5 years, a Mishawaka building is about to get a new lease on life. And just how much money does Notre Dame add to the local economy? Well, you don't have to be an Irish fan to love these numbers.
And the numbers have been going up as far as the temperatures are concerned over the last couple of afternoons. Hey, we're hanging out in the upper 70s right now. Could see some 80s by your football on Saturday. The very latest temperatures coming up.
Live coverage like no other. ABC 57 News and Live View go live anywhere, anytime.